to Elliott. Oh, the bicycle!
The shot, Bedoya with a goal, 1-0 Union.
Hey everyone, happy Thursday and welcome to Union Insider presented by Bimbo Bakeries USA. I'm Marisa and I'm joined by Sebastian Latou and Sheanon Williams. This weekend was expected to be a heated rematch of last year's MLS Cup final. Instead, it turned out to be a lackluster scoreless draw between the Philadelphia Union and LAFC. The Union are now winless in their last 3 matches, and all those matches have been draws. To refresh your memory, Philly was up against Cincinnati before letting them back into the game in the second half. And then the Union were a bit lifeless in Charlotte until they came alive with 2 second-half goals. And then this weekend, they picked up a scoreless draw at home against the reigning champs. Seba, Sheanon, how does Saturday's result fit into what we've seen over that last 3-game stretch?
I mean, it's like you say, a very different type of scenario during those games. The LAFC, like you say, we are all excited about seeing maybe a rematch and seeing a lot of goals between those two teams. We have a lot of weapons offensively, but besides that, it came to a 0-0. So I don't know if we have to blame maybe the fact it was a 3-game week for both of the teams. LAFC coming to the West Coast, not really looking to win. I think they were very happy with the tie. And you can see probably some of the leg of each player being a little bit tired. The weather didn't help as well. It was pouring rain and windy, so difficult condition to play. But if you look at a team like DC against Red Bull, same weather, and he finished at a 5-3. So it was, I think, a lack of offensive weapon for both of the teams. For me, we didn't see not a lot of shot on goal, so it was a bit boring, but we are going to keep the positive, and it was a 0 in the back, a long time for Andre Blake and the defense. So hopefully we can build on that and get a win next weekend.
Shane, what did you see? You were there calling it on the radio.
I saw a lot of rain, that's for sure. The game was it was tough to watch, and I think for a lot of people, they were looking to see excitement, especially after last year's MLS Cup final and also the games that we've had previously this year with LAFC. And the game didn't deliver that. I think that both teams are coming off a long week and have games upcoming on Wednesday again and then Saturday again. So I think we're getting to the end of the season and people are starting to look ahead and look down the road at playoff matchups and different things of that nature, and it just didn't deliver what we thought it would on Saturday.
It was a little tough to watch. It was a little boring. I think the team would admit to that themselves. But as a player, when a game is lacking all of that energy, does it feel boring to you, even though it is a live action game? How does that energy kind of feel on the field as what we're seeing on the screen?
I mean, it comes from everything. It comes from the play. It was a lot of fouls. The referee was always acting with different players. We saw a lot of foul on Carranza. Who then had to come out for a concussion. So a lot of time out, time off. Doesn't bring a lot of energy, a lot of rhythm into the game. The stands were not maybe as full because people didn't come because of the rain. So you feel it a little bit when you're on the field, and you are tired too, mentally with the 3 games stretch during that week. So it definitely wears you a little bit, and you kind of go into that weird rhythm that make a boring game, and it was the case on Saturday.
Let's get into our first team report presented by Green Mountain Energy. This weekend, the Union will head out to Columbus to take on the Crew for the 2nd time this season. The first time was way back in February to open up the 2023 campaign, a match the Union won 4-1 at home. Now, several months later, they meet again with both sides vying for one of the top spots in the Eastern Conference and home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. This week, head coach Jim Curtin previewed the Union's final match of September.
Again, as bad as it hurts, guys, we sit in 3rd place, a point out of 2nd, and kind of control our own destiny. That's the reality of things. We know who's coming in here. We have Atlanta and Nashville, and then end of the year decision day against New England. Obviously have a tough test against Columbus where we'll be tired, they'll be fresh. But anything's possible in this league, and we can go anywhere and beat anybody. Conversely, as you've seen, we can also tie or lose to anybody. That's the reality of the league. And then we'll continue to push, and hopefully we can end the season the right way, get the full group going and clicking. And when that happens, you've seen us. We can beat anybody.
All right, I brought back Seba and Sheanon to help break down this upcoming match against the Columbus Crew. And guys, I really love how these teams are really bookending this season, opening up the season in February. Now, one of the last regular season matches happening this weekend. How different really are these teams from what we saw in February?
Wow, so different for me, especially for the Columbus Crew, because Wilfried Nancy just arrived, with the team. It was his first game against the Union. Of course, a tough loss for them, but since then, he really put, his chemistry into the team, his style of play, offensively especially, playing with a back three, middle of four, and I think, since the mercato in the summer, they took Diego Rossi. We all know him, from his time in LAFC, and Julian Gressel from Vancouver. So he really have a much better team, I think, in the depth. He has a lot of people who can come off the bench and make a difference. So much stronger team from Columbus, and you are going to see, it's going to be a big game, and they are both fighting now for a higher spot into the playoff, and it's going to be an exciting game.
If you look at just stock up, stock down from these two teams on how they've been over the last few weeks, how would you rank the Union and Columbus?
For me, I think that the Union have stayed pretty steady throughout the course of the season. I think that they've been not as much of the roller coaster, and it seems like Columbus is really now stock up, and they've had a lot of changes, like Seba talked about, bringing in new additions that have really helped out the club in terms of not only Rossi but Julian Gressel out on that right-hand side as they're in that back three now. They also have Cucho Hernandez, who is not only scoring the goals but providing them as well. And they look like a way different team than the team that we saw coming in the first game of the season, and the Union pounded them 4-1. So I think that we're going to have a different game and something that we should look forward to, as it's going to be a big test for them and something that could end up as a early playoff matchup.
So 61 goals for Columbus this season. That's tied for the most in the East. What makes their offense tick?
I think it's at home. They are very strong when they play in their new stadium. I think, the last game at home, they won 3-0. Cucho Hernandez with a hat-trick in the first half. When they click offensively at home and they feel the rhythm, they are really unstoppable. So the Union needs to really do a good job defensively to not, give them any early chances, because it could be a big build-up from this team, because when they really connect offensively, they are strong and they score a lot of goals, like you said. But I think it's usually at home that's where they are their best.
We're stepping away for a bit, but first, let's take a look at This Week in Union History presented by Premier Orthopedics. This week in 2019, the Union took a trip out west to San Jose and took down the Earthquakes by a score of 2-1. The team was down 1-0 for a big chunk of the game until Alejandro Bedoya's 70th minute goal tied it, and Kacper Shabilko's 76th minute goal gave the club the lead for good. We're back with Throwback Thursday presented by United Concordia. We throw it back to what seems like a lifetime ago, but it was only in February when the Union defeated Columbus Crew in the first match of the season, a 4-1 win at Subaru Park. Julian Carranza and Daniel Gazdag scored a brace each in this one to start the Union season off strong. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm Marisa Pilla, that's Sebastian Letou and Sheanon Williams, and the Union will be traveling to Columbus to take on the Crew this Saturday night. And it's time we ask these two right here hand over their keys to the game presented by Subaru. Sheanon, you are up first. A win in Columbus is no easy feat, so what is key to do that?
For me, the key to the game this week is going to be for them to be really good on the counter. We know that Columbus is going to play in that back three. That's going to leave a lot of space out on those wing backs and in behind those wing backs. So can the Union do a good job of, when they win the ball, can they spring forward and into the attack? We know that that's a majority of how they get a bunch of their chances. So can they do a good job of really playing the right pass, making the right decision, and then adding numbers to the attack? If they can do that, we can see some goals in Columbus, which isn't an easy place to score. So hopefully they can do a good job of picking the right pass and getting easy chances in front of the Columbus goal.
Yes, and for me, it might kind of combine with Shannon's key. It's to stay compact defensively. I think we all know that Columbus is going to have the ball. They are at home. They want to score quickly. They want, to get the game on their hands, to pass and get, some distance between them and the Union in the standing. But we know the Union are always good in counter-regulation, but staying compact defensively, having, those two lines of maybe the back four and the three in the midfield, maybe having Gazdag helping to stay compact, not leaving, the Columbus Crew, because they love to do those passing in the midfield, to then try to spread the ball wide. I think it's very important to be compact, and when we win the ball, like Sheanon talked about, spread the ball with a good pass to those kind of pocket of space, leaving by maybe Yebo on the left side, maybe Grayson on the right side, to then go quickly and have some numbers, going forward to be able to score on those counterattacks. So it's going to be important to stay compact. I think it's all about, not leaving a lot of space between the line. Wait for Columbus to maybe do like 10, 20 passes and stay in their position to make sure that when they decide to win the ball, they can be together and then they go forward quickly and get some opportunities.
If you're a gamer, then you are very well aware that the newest edition of EAFC is being released tomorrow. Ratings are always a fun thing to watch out for, but have you ever wondered how our Union players would react to their ratings? Well, you don't have to wonder anymore. Take a look at this.
Overall, honest review.
First of all, no way. That's a joke.
There's got to be someone plugging in numbers and just hoping for the best.
You're top 5 on the team. I think you're number 1.
Come on.
Do you think you deserve to be number 1?
What do you see?
A violation. That's what my pace is. 49. Says I'm the slowest in the team.
Jack Elliott's pace should be higher. 49 is a disgrace. Liza, his shooting's at 36. It's way too high.
Vazo's at 36.
I think my pace is quite accurate. But just maybe be a point or two higher.
See, like Mikel's pace is spot on. He could even be a little higher.
Yeah, you could. Dribbling, wow. You have seen many guys I ran by this season? Come on. You have to do better than this.
My shooting is, that's ridiculous. I think my shooting is much higher than a 55.
Jose's shooting as well too. Have they not seen this season?
Yeah, 3 goals.
3 goals, absolute worldies.
Leon Falk has more shooting than me.
Leon, we can all agree that the shooting. What are you going to say about that?
Should not be that high.
Alejandro Bedoya has 14 more shooting points than me. Wow. My pace? Am I faster than him? Okay, I'm 10 faster than him, so that's fine.
Yeah, all right, there you go. 60. My pace is 60, McGlynn is 70. I mean, I beat him every day in the race, and I finish backwards.
Well, first off, the fact that Jack is even close to my pace is ridiculous.
I just don't really get it, to be honest. Has anyone ever seen Jack McGlynn run? Because that's all I have to say, and he's got 70 pace. There's no way.
Jack McGlynn pace.
Jack McGlynn pace is a 70.
He's the slowest.
I mean, Jack Elliott 49. That's pace as well. I mean, that's just not true.
Yeah.
The fella's got strides of a giraffe. Like McGlynn's a baby giraffe, and Jack Elliott is a full-grown giraffe.
McGlynn. This is 70. And name and low 67. Finish.
67 for Damien? No, that's crazy. That should be 90.
The slowest player on the team has one of the highest ratings.
Tear up a paper.
Makes no sense.
Tear up a paper. And this year.
Oh my god.
What do you think about Jack McGlynn's pace being higher than your pace?
It's disrespectful. The slowest guy on the team versus the fastest guy on the team.
Donovan should have way more pace. He's our fastest player, for sure.
That should be 90 pace.
I have to say that Chris has gotten absolutely smashed at pace. He's got 53.
The second slowest on the team. There's got to be
I'm the fastest guy on the team.
Easily.
Leon probably has too much pace. He's got 82, and that's yeah. He's fast, but not that fast. If you look at everybody else's pace.
Leon's pace is an 82. That's all I have to say. Love you, Leon, but you're not an 82.
I want to see what my son says. But are these officially already out?
Yes.
Because I know my son just started playing a little bit, so
Yep.
I know he'll have some comment to me saying, my rating sucks, and he doesn't want to buy my car or whatever.
I'm not too mad.
You use me in the game, I'm not that slow, so I'm not gonna give them a hard time.
Yeah.
It's just numbers. We know what the truth is, No, that's a violation. The pace in shooting is not having it. Send this back. They got it wrong.
When Union Insider returns, we take a look at a key figure in the ever-dangerous Columbus Crew attack that the Union will need to stop on Saturday for a chance at 3 road points. We'll be right back after this. Time for this week's Chick-fil-A Nugget of the Week. After sitting out against LAFC, Jacob Glesnes' streak of 101 straight MLS starts came to an end. He was the second field player and 6th overall to reach 100 straight starts in MLS history. Welcome back to Union Insider, presented by Bimbo, Bakeries USA. Marisa Pillow, Sebastian Letou, Sheanon Williams here to break down the Union's upcoming match against the Columbus Crew. Now, the Union have been faced with a bevy of talented attackers in their recent stretch of matches, and Columbus will be no different as the man they call Cucho gets in the spotlight for this week's player profile presented by Subaru. After coming over from Watford SC in English Premier League, Cucho has been a force for the Crew, scoring 22 goals and adding 14 assists in his 39 total matches for Columbus. Now, this is a task we've seen the Union have to do week in and week out, but how does defending Cucho compare to other of the selective defending we've seen the Union have to do against star attackers?
For me, it's going to be a difficult ask just because of not only the goal scoring, but also the assists. Usually you're dealing with one or the other. And for the Union this week, they're going to have to deal with both. So they're going to have to do a good job of making sure that he's marked up in the box and also limiting his time and space on the ball. I think if they can do those two things, then they can have a good outing against Columbus. But he's definitely going to be the key man to watch and somebody that they're going to have to key in on for this game.
Yeah, he's attributed to 48% of the team's total scoring with the goals and the assists. So why does the offense operate so well through him?
It's just because he's not just a goal scorer who's going to stay in the box and finish the chances. You can see him, really dropping sometime, even try to combine the midfield. And, having now Diego Rossi coming in the team, you have Ramirez who can be, pairing with him on top. He loves to have this type of role. He can be the finisher, but at the same time, he loves to pass. And that's what I really like about this player. It's not just a selfish, I'm going to get the ball and always shoot, always try to make something happen. He knows exactly when are all of his teammates, and he doesn't mind sliding the ball to them to have the biggest opportunity. So it's a tough player to mark. It takes a lot about communication, making sure they know who he is, but he's not the only weapon in Columbus, which is a bit dangerous for the Union because they have a lot of players who can create something offensively, and he's one of them with, like you say, 13 goals and 11 assists this season. It's not a lot of forward. You can see that this season. So he's one of the best this year, and he's in a running, for the Golden Boot. So the Union have a tough task, but it's going to be a great task for a defender because you know that if you stop him, you can have a great game and he can prepare you for the playoff.
Cucho loves to link up with Diego Rossi, as you said. Knowing the strengths of the Union's backline and their defensive midfielders, what personnel combinations make the most sense to make them a non-factor?
I think it's going to be up to the health of Martinez, and we know that they're dealing with some injuries along the back line as well. So again, Seba talked about not only is he going to stretch the game and go higher, but also come underneath. So it's going to be a team effort in terms of making sure that when he does come down lower into the midfield that he gets passed on, and then when he gets up top that one of the center backs ends up marking him and picking him up in the box.
Now let's take a look at some of the action from this weekend in MLS around the league, presented by Torque. This was arguably the wildest game of the weekend. 8 total goals were scored at Audi Field, but this John Tolkien stoppage time goal sealed the win for the Red Bulls and spoiled Christian Benteke's hat trick for DC. Red Bulls 5, DC United 3. And the best story in MLS this season just keeps on getting better. Jobulo Blom goal put St. Louis City up for good against Minnesota United. With the win, St. Louis tied the MLS record for the most wins by an expansion club in their inaugural season with 16. What a year for the leaders in the West. We're stepping away one more time, but when we return, these guys will give me their players to watch for the Union's upcoming matchup against Columbus Crew. Union Insider returns after this. Starting this year, every Union League match is on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. Sign up today to make sure you don't miss a minute of the action. You can also check out the live Whip Around show MLS 360, or if you missed out on the live, you can relive every moment with full match replays. And get this, if you're a T-Mobile subscriber, you get the whole year of Season Pass content free of charge. We're starting to wrap things up here on Union Insider, presented by Bimbo, Bakeries USA, which means it is time for our All-State players to watch. Seba and Sheanon both select a player from the Union they think will have an important game against Columbus. Seba, who are you looking towards?
I'm looking towards the forward and the number 9. I'm going to pick,
surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I love this number, as you know. So I really want, Julian Carranza to do well during that game. I think it'll be some opportunity in counter-attacks, like we talk about. He needs, to go back into the scoring kind of wagon. He's been, scoring now his last goal almost a month ago against the Red Bulls. We need a big Carranza to finish the season strong, get the goals, and hopefully, like we talk about too in a couple of shows, he can still make it to get the golden boots, so it might be his last chance. So I'm going for him to get maybe 1 or 2 goals in that game.
All right, so he's going with a number 9 surprise. Are you going to surprise us and maybe not go with a defender?
I am definitely going to go with the defender. Going into Columbus, we know how important Cucho Hernandez is to Columbus Crew, being 48% of their offense. So I'm going to go with Jack Elliott. I'm going to look for him to really lead this group, especially with the injury to Glesnes. Can he take over? Can he be that guy in the back that does the dirty work? We've seen him put out so many fires this year, so looking for him to do that again in Columbus.
That's going to do it for us, the Union on the road to take on Columbus this Saturday, kickoff 7:30 p.m. and can be seen on Apple TV. But if you want to listen to it, Sheanon alongside Dave Leno will be on the radio call 97.5 The Fanatic. And of course, we'll be back here next week to talk all about it. For Seba, Sheanon, and our entire crew, I'm Marisa. Have a great weekend, and thanks for watching.